Okay, we're back with the orally transmitted teachings. We're gonna finish the points that were where we left off. We left off after we had finished actually point 3 of chapter 7, Parable of the Phantom City, right? Okay, so point 4 is what we will be going on to. I'm gonna just go through a bunch of stuff in the dictionary. I've got it all marked. It's easier for me if I just go one by okay, so we're going to read potentially into the next chapter, but where we stopped last time, okay, point 4 of chapter 7 is probably one of the most profound things that you can actually understand yourself from the standpoint of faith. Okay? Because what he's going to talk about here now is go point 4. He says their grandfather, who was a wheel-turning king, and I'm going to go into all this, but I'm going to read the definitions. He says, the record of the orally transmitted teaching says in this passage we learn about the Buddha of the original state. That is the Buddha of limitless joy. Okay, this is the first time that's been mentioned. Okay, what is the Buddha? What's the Buddha of the original state? What's the original state? Let me just go through these and you guys will catch up. The original state is Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, okay? And it has no point of beginning. It's beginningless time, right? Kuan Ganjo doesn't have a beginning. Right. Okay? So this is the original state, okay? Yes. All right. The Buddha of beginningless time. So if you went and you looked at the original Buddha, try to find original Buddha in the dictionary, you would never find it. Okay? You have to look up Buddha of beginningless time, or Jiju Yushin Nyorai, which is what I am. I am a Buddha of beginningless time. You are a Buddha of beginningless time. You are a Buddha of beginningless time. This is where we unlock those secrets, because they're not specifically spoken. But if you know what the definition of a Buddha of the Buddha of limitless joy is, then it's an easy convergence over from Nichiren to yourself. You can see there's nothing in Nichiren's teachings that isn't qualified to also be totally pertaining to you. You know, you couldn't be a Buddha if he couldn't be a Buddha. Right. Okay? And because he was a Buddha, you can be a Buddha. Okay? That's the whole point here. All right, so I'm just going to start with the one that's the farthest back in B. The Buddha of beginningless time. Also, Kuan Ganjo no Jiju Yushin. Okay? Beginningless time. Kuan Ganjo no. Jiju Yushin is body that's freely in used. Okay? The freely given and used. Oh, okay, so here we go. When we get into the original Buddha, we ain't talking about Shakyamuni. No. Okay? Buddha of beginningless time. Kuan Ganjo no Jiju Yushin. Also, eternal Buddha, original Buddha, or true Buddha. Why do we, from the beginning of our practices, they would told us, we're true Buddhas. Be a true Buddha. Do you remember that concept? True Buddha. You're true Buddhas. Why were we true Buddhas? Because our Buddhahood is based on the original state, which is Kuan, which is Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Okay, is based on the simultaneity of the law of cause and effect. Yes. It's not based on anything more than that. Yes. Okay, so that's the original state of life. When I say the original state, I'm talking about the original state of life is the complete expression of that. Okay, all right. Going to the Buddha of beginningless time. Also, eternal Buddha, original Buddha, or true Buddha. The Buddha who has been eternally endowed with the 3 bodies, the Dharma body, the reward body, and the manifested body. They're embodying the eternal law or the ultimate truth of life and the universe. Does that not describe us? Does the Daishonin not say you are all, disciples of the, original teacher? You're, eternally endowed with the three bodies. That's what this says. This Buddha beginningless time is. Okay, so we could almost say this Buddha is Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Do you understand that then?
Yes.
Okay, this Buddha is Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. This Buddha permeates everything. This Buddha isn't a dude. Okay, we got to quit thinking of everything about, like, any reference to a Buddha is like a man. Okay? Everything is the Buddha. Those plants out there are the Buddha. The sky and the air is the Buddha. The universe itself and everything in it is the Buddha. That's what's being related here. And if you understand that correctly, then you understand you are a Buddha. It isn't a theoretical construct, and it's not arrogant in any way, shape, or form. It is the teaching, and you are a disciple of the original teacher. Why wouldn't you believe that? Okay, it only makes sense. Those that cannot believe it, obviously are not disciples of the original teacher. Okay, and I'm talking now about the original teacher. Okay, the original teacher is Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo allows you to make everything else in the phenomenal realm your teacher.
Yes.
By discovering the oneness of everything that exists. Okay? Doing a lot of talking without doing a lot of reading. Let me get back to the dictionary. Okay. Also, eternal Buddha, original Buddha, or true Buddha. The Buddha who has been eternally endowed with three bodies. The dharma body, which we already know what that is, right? That's the law itself. The reward body, the mind that has the capacity to perceive the law itself, and the manifested body, because a mind without a contraption to take advantage of it isn't worth anything.
Right.
Okay. Thereby embodying the eternal law or the ultimate truth of life and the universe. The term appears in Nichiren's writing given to his successor, Nico, titled On the Mystic Principle of True Cause. So when was this teaching actually expounded? When was the Gosho on the Mystic Principle of True Cause given? When was that teaching given by Nichiren? When he was at the hot springs right before his death. This is his last major teaching, okay? All right, so this term appears in Nichiren's writing given to his successor, Nico. Now, so then would this concept appear in anything from Nichiren's Shu? No. Would this concept appear in anywhere else outside of Nichiren's Shoshu and the subsequent relationship with Soka Gakkai? No. Okay? So this is mystic. On the mystic principle of true cause. True cause is the basis of all things. It's the original state. That's cause, right? I always keep saying that's cause. Whenever you go back to Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, it's cause. It's not effect. All right? It refers to the mystic principle, it refers to the mystic law, uncreated. So there's no creator of this mystic law. Okay? There's no Buddha that revealed this mystic law. This mystic law is that Buddha that speaks of this mystic law. Do you understand? I can do that too. I too am a Buddha of the mystic law of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Don't limit yourself or you'll be limited. Okay? Uncreated and eternal. Okay, so that means can't find a beginning, can't find an end. Of the Buddha of beginningless time, and states that the mystic law lies in the depths of the lifespan chapter of the essential teaching of the Lotus Sutra. Now, who said that? Who qualified that? Who made that declaration? Nichiren Daishonin. But he never qualified that to be me. Okay? Because he didn't want to be so bodacious as to seem like he was stepping on Shakyamuni's toes. Don't forget, we're talking 13th century Japan. Who brought forth the principle of this Buddha that I'm talking about right now? It's Nichiren. It's Nichiren. Okay, Nichiren is the one that defined or divined the oneness of person and law. Okay? Because the person applies to all of, not just Nichiren, but all of Nichiren's disciples, as he says over and over and over and over again. Okay? In the OTT. Okay. This term appears in Nichiren's writing given to his successor Nikko, titled On the Mystic Principle of True Cause. It refers to the mystic law, uncreated and eternal, of the Buddha of beginningless time, and states that the mystic law lies in the depths of the lifespan chapter of the essential teaching of the Lotus Sutra. Nichiren, the 26th high chief priest of Nichiren Shoshu, of the Taisekaji temple, identified Nichiren as that Buddha. Okay? Based on the fact that Nichiren was the first to spread the mystic law. Wouldn't it be that Buddha's job to spread his teaching? Yes. According to Nichiren, the Japanese term Jijuyushin literally means the body that is freely received and used. Isn't that you? Yeah, that's you. That's you. That's us. The body that is freely received and used, our Buddha nature, turning a common mortal into a Buddha and living in the 9 worlds with the 10th world to share with everybody and make them aware of.
Yes.
The Buddha of beginningless time is also called the Buddha of limitless joy, indicating the Buddha who freely derives boundless joy from the law while enjoying absolute freedom, and who directly expounds the law that he realized within his own life. Okay? If you carry this forward to the degree that you're being encouraged to, you will understand that to mean you are capable of making pronouncements yourself. That you know you have the wisdom and the basis, established, so that the changing circumstances, the wisdom that always deals with changing circumstances, we're the function of that.
Yes.
Do you understand? Yes. The Gosha's doesn't have a mouth. It can't. There's not going to be another Nichiren Daishonin and say, by the way, I need to update this shit. It's it's 800 years old now. No, we're the ones that do that because we're the same Buddha. Yeah. Do you understand? Yes. All right. Whew. This is heavy shit. I'm sorry. It's taking me a long time. The Buddha of beginningless time is also called the Buddha of limitless joy, indicating the Buddha who freely derives boundless joy from the law. You actually like being shakabukuing people and helping them while enjoying absolute freedom because you have no limitations. You've got Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. You are endowed with supernatural powers. Okay, and who directly expounds the law that he realized within his own life is this is all boilerplate to you, and you haven't discovered it as the truth of you, then you're still just repeating words. You have not derived what I'm talking about. Because when you hit this, you are constantly speaking from your own enlightenment. Do you understand? You're not reading some other dude's words and say, these are the words of someone that's in. No, you're fully capable of making those clarifications. And you qualify that constantly with your behavior as a human being. Yeah. Okay? It's not an honor that was given to you. It's something that you had to battle and fight to gain, and you have the compassion to share.
Yes.
Okay? In the lifespan chapter, Shakyamuni revealed his attainment of Buddhahood, numberless major world system dust particle kalpas in the past. He wasn't afraid to say what he knew was the truth. No matter how far in the past, however, it occurred at a fixed point in time, and therefore is not eternal, because he talks about the point in which he became enlightened. Okay. Moreover, he did not clarify the law or cause that enabled him to attain enlightenment at that time. Okay. Do you understand where Nichikan is coming from in making his distinctions about who is the Buddha of beginningless time? In contrast, the Buddha of beginningless time is eternal and also represents eternal life. All of us. Endowed with both the 9 worlds and Buddhahood, because it's the teaching of Nichiren. This is the true 9 worlds, the true world of Buddhahood. Those are the true 10 worlds, right? Yeah. In the opening of the eyes, Nichiren states this is the doctrine of original cause and original effect. Okay? Original means nothing preceded it. Okay? It reveals that the 9 worlds are all present in beginningless Buddhahood. Always have been. They're not two different things. They've never been separated, even though they're separated by the fact that you're filled with delusion and can't manifest what's already there, your 10th world. Get it? Okay. It reveals that the 9 worlds are all present in beginningless Buddhahood, and that Buddhahood is inherent in the beginningless 9 worlds. That means that they never occur, even though they are separate by purity versus delusion. They're never separate, because delusion and enlightenment are the same thing. They're two different sides. Okay? This is the true mutual possession of the 10 worlds. This is the true 100 worlds and 1,000 factors, the true 3,000 realms in a single moment of life. That's why this leads to actual Ichinen Sanzen rather than theoretical Ichinen Sanzen, which understands there must be this ultimate reality, but doesn't perceive or qualify it to be something that you can manifest. You can just understand it must exist. You don't become this original state person. Okay? Is everybody with me? Yeah. Okay. Here, original cause refers to the beginningless 9 worlds, and original effect to beginningless Buddhahood. Cause, life, effect, the original state of that life. What Nichiren defined as the true 3,000 realms in a single moment of life. Actual Ichinen Sanzen. So what Nichiren defined as actual Ichinen Sanzen, what he's all the time saying, but what Shakyamuni Tentai practiced was theoretical. What I practice is not. It's actual, right? So when we get into that actuality aspect, what Nichiren defined as the actual 3,000 realms in a single moment of life is the original state of life, is Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Okay? To manifest this state of life, to manifest Nam-myoho Renge-kyo as a 9-world entity, what does that qualify in being able to do so? Your Buddhahood's already engaged in live. It's on live, whether it's functioning at that particular moment when you're in the night, that's constantly changing each life moment. It's never the same, okay? But is the original state of life. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo is us. That's why when they talk about you and the Gohonzon are the same, it's not words, it's the truth. You just can't understand it. You still see it as a piece of paper and then you as something else. Okay? When in reality, your life is the real Gohonzon. And that's a representation for you to be able to get to the point of being able to understand that. Okay? Oh, no wonder I have heart problems. What Nichiren defined as the 3,000 realms in a single moment of life is the original state of life. To manifest this state of life is the attainment of Buddhahood for all people. Because once anybody had ever been able to do that, then that meant anybody else could also do it if they could accomplish the same qualification of clarity. And if the capacity for that qualification of clarity didn't occur in the one person is the example that exists in all people. That's the point. It's then the ability for everybody else to go out and become equal to them by bringing forth and making known and utilized what exists in all of us. Okay? Because we're all from the original state. You can't go back beyond the original state. That's the point. That's why we're all the same. Right. All right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Nichiren established, to manifest this state of life is the attainment of Buddhahood for all people. This is why Nichikan's going like, it's got to be Nichiren, right? Nichiren established the practice that enables everyone to achieve this by inscribing the Gohonzon, or the object of devotion that embodies this original state of life. Okay? And prescribing the invocation of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. See also Buddha of Limitless Joy. And I'm going to read you the Buddha of Limitless Joy, because now this pertains to us. This was really talking about the original teacher. Now, this is exactly us, only we're not first. Okay? We're the original disciples that continue to be making clear the original teaching. All right. Buddha of Limitless Joy, Jiji Yushin. Buddha of Limitless Joy is broader in meaning than the Buddha of Self-Enjoyment, which is another translation of Jiji Yushin. Number one, Tentai identified the Buddha of Limitless Joy with the Buddha revealed in the essential teaching latter half of the Lotus Sutra, whom he defined as the Buddha originally endowed with the three bodies. But he was talking about numberless major world system, dust particle, kalpas in the 16th chapter. Okay? That I shown as qualifying this in Parable of Phantom City. Why? Because in reality, this is what a human being is. All of us are the original state. All of us are the Buddha that was not actually qualified until the 16th chapter. That's why he's saying it in Parable of Phantom City. You'll get into it when I read it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, so again, Tentai identified the Buddha of Limitless Joy with the Buddha revealed in the essential teaching latter half of the Lotus Sutra, whom he identified with the Buddha originally endowed with the three bodies, the Dharma body, the reward body, and the manifested body. Here, these three bodies are regarded as three integral aspects of a single Buddha, i.e. the fundamental truth or law to which he is enlightened, the Dharma body, the wisdom to attain Buddhahood, the wisdom to realize it, the reward body, and the merciful actions to help people attain Buddhahood, the manifested body. See also Buddha of beginningless time. Okay? And then Dingyo had his perspective. And I'm going to drop down to number 3, Nichiren. Nichiren identified the doctrine of 3,000 realms in a single moment of life as the law of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Actual Ichinen Sanzen is the law of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. That's how it's allowed to be established. Actual Ichinen Sanzen cannot exist without Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Frankly. Okay? That he realized within his own life. In other words, Nichiren established two concepts of 3,000 realms in a single moment of life. One is Tentai's. That's the one he calls theoretical Ichinen Sanzen. And the other is own, which he refers to as actual Ichinen Sanzen. And I've just given you all the reasons why he calls one actual versus the other one being theoretical. Okay, because if you don't manifest the original state, it's not actual. It's not Nam-myoho Renge-kyo based enlightenment. That's the point, okay? His own. In his treatment of illness, Nichiren writes, there are two ways of perceiving the 3,000 realms in a single moment of life. One is theoretical, the other is actual. What Tentai and Dingyo practiced was theoretical. but what I practice now is actual. Because what I practice is superior, the difficulties attending it are that much greater. The doctrine of Tentai and Dengyo was the 3,000 realms in a single moment of life of the theoretical teaching, while mine, which she's qualifying and saying that, is my teaching, okay? While mine is not Tentai's, it's not Dengyo's, and those are extrapolations for Shakyamuni, okay? While mine is that of the essential teaching, Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, of the original state, okay? These two are as different as heaven is from earth, okay? That's why the Tendai school is a provisional school. Tendai, okay? That's the Japanese Tentai, okay? That's Dengyo's school. Mount Hei is Tendai, okay? Nichiren established the doctrine of 3,000 realms in a single moment of life based on the true aspect of all phenomena, based on Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, the phrase from the Expedient Means chapter of the Lotus Sutra. Okay, that took long enough. Jeez, Tom. Okay, let me get to this. Where's the next one? There aren't that many. Parable of the Phantom City and the Treasure Land. Okay, I already read the recap on Parable of the Phantom City. Do you remember all that? Maybe not, but rather than reread it, let me read something I did not read, which is the synopsis of what that is. Okay, so last time we were together, I read you this. It's on page 494 of the dictionary. It gives you the whole synopsis of the chapter that we're in right now, the 7th chapter, the Parable of the Phantom City, okay? But next to it's an explanation of what that concept really is, which would benefit us now more than me rereading what I read last time we were together. Okay. Parable of the Phantom City, one of the 7 parables of the Lotus Sutra related in the Parable of the Phantom City, 7th chapter, to illustrate the principle of replacing the 3 vehicles with the 1 vehicle. Okay, what is that? Replacing the mistaken concept as it had been actually expounded up to that point, that cause awakened ones are a step. They have to attain some sort of higher state, which will move them up into cause awakened ones. Cause awakened ones will reach a higher state, and that'll move them up. How long does it take you to, you got to attain Buddhahood in your present form in that? No. Okay, so that's the whole point. It's the fact that it is revealed in these chapters that I've been reading, from the ox carts and the burning house. All these parables are all qualifying the Buddha nature. The top knot's going to be was sewn into the robe. That parable is going to be coming up. This is all to qualify again. You all have the Buddha nature. We've all had the Buddha nature from the time of our first heartbeat, that when we became a zygote in our mother's womb, when we departed from heaven. I just went through the 8 phases of a Buddha's existence, okay? That's what he's trying to qualify here. All right, so also the Parable of Phantom City, one of the 7 parables of the Lotus Sutra related to the Parable of Phantom City, chapter 2, related in the Parable of Phantom City, chapter to illustrate the principle of replacing the 3 vehicles with the 1 vehicle. Okay, that cause awakened ones, it's all Buddhahood. Everything, it's either lower 6 realms, the next 3, which you haven't realized you're the Buddha, but you are on a path to be able to do that, or the realm of birth and death and Buddhahood. There are 3 ways to die and live. Okay? It tells the group of people who want to travel 500 yojanas to reach a remote place where there are rare treasures. The leader is wise, experienced, and very familiar with the route. But the road they must take is steep and treacherous. Midway, they lose heart and want to turn back. Seeing this, their leader uses his powers of expedient means, and when they have gone 300 yojanas along the steep road, he conjures up a city. He conjures up an imaginary place. They're all seeing it and digging on it, but it's not real. It's not real. Okay? There they go to rest and regain their spirits, convinced they can escape the dreadful road. You can't escape the dreadful road. That's life itself. That's birth, old age, sickness, and death. Okay? Knowing that they have recovered from their exhaustion, the leader wipes out the phantom city and tells them that the treasure land, their true destination, is close by. In the parable of the Phantom City chapter, the Phantom City is compared to the three vehicles, or the expedient means by which the Buddha leads all people to Buddhahood. And the treasure land, the group's destination, is compared to the one Buddha vehicle of Buddhahood, living actual Ichiren Sons and in your present existence. The meaning of the parable is that just as the guide conjures a city to lead his party of travelers to the treasure land, the Buddha employs the expedient means of the three vehicles to lead people to the one vehicle of Buddhahood. Okay, that's that. I don't think we're even going to get into the next chapter. After this, we are probably just going to finish chapter 7 today.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll do 8 and 9 next week, and then we'll do 10, and then just as we had discussed. Okay, so I'm not going to have to give you that. Hang on. I think that might be all that I really need to go over first here. Okay, would seem to be. That's all I'm going to give you now anyhow before I do this. Okay, going back to chapter 7, Parable of the Phantom City, point 4. We left off, and I'm going to wait for my Zoe. So, when she comes back, I'll continue.
Okay.
We just take a quick pause. Won't be that long. I can at least read this part. Point 4 on page 75 of the orally transmitted teachings. Point 4 on the words, their grandfather who was a wheel-turning sage king. In the passage, their grandfather who was a wheel-turning sage king, along with 100 chief ministers, as well as 100,000, 10,000, a million of his subjects, all together surrounded the sons, and following them to the place of practice, all wishing to draw close to the great universal wisdom, to the great universal wisdom, excellence, thus come one. Okay, I'll probably read this 2 or 3 times because I've got it circled like this. The record of the orally transmitted teachings says, in this passage, we learn about the Buddha of the original state. Okay, well, we just read all that stuff out of the dictionary over here. He's letting you know about it already. Okay, that is the Buddha of limitless joy. Grandfather is another name for the Dharma realm. The first 3 of the 10 factors listed in the expedient means chapters are Nyose, So, Nyose, Sho, Nyose, Tai. What are those? They are the factors of appearance, nature, and entity, are referred to as grandfather. Outside of these 3 factors, there is no wheel-turning sage king. The word wheel-turning refers to the phases of birth, abiding, change, and extinction. The words sage king refers to the element of the mind. These 3 factors, appearance, nature, and entity, are the father and mother of all the Buddhas of the 3 existences of the past, present, and future. This is all very... Is this not jump? Do you understand what he's saying? This is like, to me, this is all just like duh. Let me explain what he's saying. Okay. So far, we've been reading this along the lines of knowing that this is all coming from the Lotus Sutra, right? But has this been going along with each chapter of the Lotus Sutra, trying to teach what that chapter of the Lotus Sutra is talking about? No, Nichiren is qualifying his Buddhahood by using phrases from the Lotus Sutra as a basis for the points that he's making. Okay? This isn't a lesson on the Lotus Sutra. This is a lesson on the enlightenment of Nichiren Daishonin. Okay? So now that my Zoe's back, I'll start over again. Point 4. On the words, their grandfather who was a wheel-turning sage king, in the passage, their grandfather who was a wheel-turning sage king, along with 100 chief ministers, as well as 100,000, 10,000, million of his subjects, altogether surrounded the sons, and followed them to the place of practice, all wishing to draw close to the great universal wisdom, excellence, thus come one. Now, if you just read those words, you would say that he's referring to their grandfather in a past tense kind of a basis, along with a whole bunch of other people, along with a whole bunch of people that gathered together. They all wanted to follow the sons, the 16 sons, back to their dad, back to their source, and gain that wisdom from that guy, okay? That's what this is talking about in words here. Now, Nichiren is qualifying. No, this is all deeper. This is all symbolic of things, okay? The record of the orally transmitted teaching says, in this passage, we learn about the Buddha of the original state, which is Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. We've just described it. That is the Buddha of limitless joy, which is all entities that embrace that original state. When you embrace the original state, you become a Buddha of limitless joy. I already told you, we derive joy from expounding the law. Isn't that what I'm doing? Isn't that why you're here? Yes. Okay. Grandfather is another name for the Dharma realm. So if we're going to take a look at everything that exists, wouldn't the original state be the grandfather of all that? Everything that transpired after the original state that we know right now isn't the original state. Okay, we know time is, but we can't measure the original state, right? Let me say it again. The record of the orally transmitted teaching says, in this passage we learn about the Buddha of the original state, that is the Buddha of limitless joy, which is the original teacher and all of his disciples that embrace the same teaching that he has taught them. All right? Grandfather is another name for the phenomenal realm, for the Dharma realm, for everything. Everything that's included in the Dharma realm is part of the Dharma realm. Okay? So this is, grandfather is another name for all things. Okay? That exist outside of non-substantiality. Okay? The first 3 of the 10 factors listed in the expedient means chapter are appearance, nature, and entity. We know that, right? Okay, are referred to as grandfather. What? The first 3 of the 10 factors listed in the expedient means chapter, the factors of appearance, nature, and entity, are referred to as grandfather. Outside of these 3 factors, there is no wheel-turning king. What is he saying? All this grandiose language I've been using in expounding this teaching, the Lotus Sutra, Shakyamuni. Nichiren's now qualifying, it's all just us humans. It's just all us living beings. Okay? If we're grandfather, right? Expedient, okay, let me read it again. You've got to get this point. The record of the Nichiren says, in this passage we learn about the original Buddha and the original state.
Yes.
Okay? Because that is the Buddha of the original state. Okay? The Buddha of limitless joy. He became a Buddha of limitless joy, making everybody equal to himself. We've all become Buddhas of limitless joy. Everybody's with me on that.
That's clear.
Grandfather is another name for the everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because everything is the original state, right? And the original state is a grandfather, right? Okay. The first of the 310. Okay, so then as we manifest out of non-substantiality, how do we manifest? We're a temporary gathering of the 5 components, right?
Yes.
Okay, and there are 10 factors of life, right? Okay, with those 10 factors of life, what are the first 3 most fundamental and most important? Us. The thing that includes the dharma realm, that includes the potential for the reward mind, that pertains the capacity to be the Buddha. We're living beings.
Yes.
Living beings are the original state. Living beings are the original state. That's what he's trying to say. They didn't get created along the way. There is no creator. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo is not a creator.
No.
Okay?
It already exists.
That's what I've been trying to get across. There is, okay, that's why he calls us, okay, the first 3, okay, the human beings or the living beings, because you're one of the 3, you're a combination of the 3 factors that make you a living being. You've got appearance, you've got a body,
Yeah.
you've got a mind, okay? You ready to go? All right. The first 3 of the listed in the expedient, appearance, nature, and entity, referred to as grandfather. Okay, so we living beings are referred to as grandfather, and that's why he says then outside of these 3 factors there is no wheel turning king. All of these supernatural guys that are bigger and better than us are all just there to their stories to help us understand the magnitude of power that our life actually exists, and we can't believe exists because we have no way to manifest it. But now we do. Now we chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. So he's saying outside of the living beings that practice, that understand the original state, there is no wheel turning sage king. We're not chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo because of the help of some wheel turning sage king to turn the wheel of the law and all the other BS that's in there. Do you hear what I'm saying?
It's us.
It's us now, chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, doing human revolution, telling others. It's all of that.
Yes.
I'm sorry I'm yelling. This is why my heart's bad. The word wheel turning refers to the phases. This is why we, outside of us, there is no wheel turning king. This is his qualification of why he can say that. The word wheel turning refers to the phases of birth, abiding, change, and extinction. What is that? Birth, old age, sickness, and death. Okay? The 4 sufferings that we don't get to be a Buddha at all because we don't become an incarnate form in the absence of that reality. The 8 realms, the 8 phases of a Buddha's existence I read to you, all included birth, old age, sickness, and death. They just weren't called birth, old age, sickness, and death because they're not called that when you're a Buddha.
Okay.
Do you understand? Because death, we don't die. He's going to say this just to qualify it again.
Okay.
The word wheel turning refers to the phases of birth, abiding, change, and extinction. The word sage king refers to the element of the mind, the capacity to see all of this for what it is. All right? These 3 factors, appearance, nature, and entity, are the father and mother of all the Buddhas of the 3 existences of past, present, and future. Why? Because there isn't a single Buddha that has ever actually been in existence that didn't have appearance, nature, and entity. There are no supernatural beings,
Right.
even though they're in the stories. That's what he's saying. In Nichiren's Buddhism, it is based on fact, not fantasy.
Right.
Okay? Now, but this is all hidden in here, isn't it? Yeah, I had to say a lot of shit to get to this point to make that clear. Were you going to go read the OTT the first time and get that out of that? No way.
No way.
No way. Okay? Now when Nichiren and his followers chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, they are acting as father and mother of the Buddhas of the three existence, because we perpetuate actual Ichinen Sanzen.
Yes.
The Buddhas of the future cannot become Buddhas in the future in the absence of us being there to leave the correct teaching for them to find and to manifest, because they're connected to us and we're connected to them. Don't kid yourself. They may come hundreds of years after us. That doesn't change the connection.
Right.
Okay? Now when Nichiren and his followers chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, they are acting as father and mother of the Buddhas of the three existences, of past, present, and future, as their grandfather, the wheel-turning sage king. That's why he says, in the absence of us, there is no such thing as a wheel-turning sage king. Because we're the basis of all of this perpetuating itself. And in the absence of the disciples of the original teacher's teaching dies.
Right.
Do you understand
So
that?
we must continue.
There's no separation between us. We're all part of the same program. We have different functions based on karmas we've created for ourselves.
Yes.
How deep is your faith? How deep is your faith? How deep is your faith? That determines everything. Bottom of page 75. God damn. With regard to the four kinds of wheels possessed by the wheel-turning sage kings, and if you look all this shit up, they've got four different kinds of wheels. Okay, they've got wheels of gold, of silver, of copper, and of iron. The gold ones represent birth, okay? The silver ones represent the white bones of death, okay? The copper ones, the appearance of aging, and the iron ones, sickness.
No.
These correspond to the four types of actions relating to the Buddha wisdom, namely opening the door of Buddha wisdom, showing it to living beings, causing them to awaken to it, and inducing them to enter its path. Okay, let me read this paragraph so that one makes more sense. That to go round and round unendingly in the cycle of birth, death, throughout the three existences of past, present, and future is what is called being a wheel-turning sage king. Now, who is he talking about here, though? Is he talking about just anybody that transmigrates through the cycle of birth, death, birth, death? What is birth, death, birth, death? Temporary phases of existence. Temporary phases of existence. So what he just said, to go through the realm of birth, death, cycle of birth, death, throughout the three existences, past, present, and future, forever, you're going to go from birth, you're going to do the four sufferings of birth, old age, sickness, and death, and you're going to do it voluntarily. What does that make you? Who lives in the Sahe world out of mercy and compassion for the suffering people who exist there?
Buddhas.
Thank you. That's what he's talking about. A real wheel-turning sage king is a real Buddha of Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, who has said, I'll come back and I get off on this stuff. Give me, I know it's hard.
I didn't say that.
But boy, oh yes you did. Yes you did. If you're here, you did. That's the hardest thing to understand. If you're here, you did.
Must. Yeah.
That's why you have someone like me reading this to you.
Yes. Thank you.
Just as you will in some way convey it in the future to others as well, yourself.
We must.
All right? to go round and round unendingly in the cycle of birth, death, throughout the three existences of past, present, and future is what is called being a wheel-turning sage king. The wheels that the wheel-turning sage kings possess when they make their appearance in the world, this tells you what I'm talking about, why I know what I just said. The wheels that the wheel-turning sage kings possess when they make their appearance in the world, their wheel treasures, because each one of these wheels that these wheel-turning sage kings have is a treasure. Okay, it's gold, copper, whatever, right? He says these wheel treasures that they use to bestow upon everybody and, do happy supernatural bullshit and make everybody cool. Okay, but that's fantasy land.
Right.
That's their stories. Okay. Here he says, they make their appearance in their world. Their wheel treasures are the words and sounds that we ourselves utter, because we're wheel-turning sage kings. Get it? Okay. And these sounds are these sounds, our wheel treasures are Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. This is what is called in chapter 11, which we haven't even gotten to, the great wisdom of equality. Why is it called the great wisdom of equality? Because no matter who you are or how smart you are, it's still all Nam-myoho Renge-kyo.
Okay.
Nothing more, nothing less, nothing more complicated, nothing more simple. All right? Point 5. Wow, page 76. Concerning the 16 sons of the king. Did you know that you're one of them? He's going to tell us that's what we really are. Coming up. That's why people chase after us to learn about the law, just like they did Shakyamuni. The record of the orally... Bro, I'm going to wait for you. Hurry. I'm not going to go through this with anybody gone. I'll read it, but then I'm going to go back through and explain it. Point 5, concerning the 16 sons of the king. The record of the orally transmitted teaching says in the number 16, 10 and 6 in Japanese. I guess in Japanese that's how they say the words, the number 16. I don't know. The 10 represents the 10 worlds and the 6 represents the 6 sense organs. The king is the mind king, and the sons are the functions of the mind. Okay, so he's saying the king, great universal wisdom, the great universal wisdom. It was a king, right? Great universal wisdom, excellence, Buddha, actually is the mind king, is our mind king. Not his. All mind kings, all minds, mind king, become mind kings when they understand the truth. Okay, just as great universal wisdom excellence did when he preached the Lotus Sutra to his 16 sons. Don't forget, that's where this all starts in all this crap, all this stuff. Okay, it's all about the story about Shakyamuni talking about his past existence as the 16th son of great universal wisdom excellence, and the Lotus Sutra that his father was teaching at that time. Remember last week I said, how could they be the same Lotus Sutra if, he's teaching Lotus Sutra to the, it's again, the Lotus Sutra is the entity of law. Okay? The 10 represent, the record of the orally transmitted teaching, this is point 5. Okay. The 10 represents the 10 worlds, the 6 represents the 6 sense organs. The king is the mind king, and the sons are the functions of the mind. Okay, so our Buddha nature is the mind king, and the sons are the functions. Our life in the 9 worlds is the Buddha. These then are the sons of the Buddha, great universal wisdom, excellence, In other words, the people that have that mind king and that are going out and becoming functions of the mind king are the sons of great universal wisdom, excellence. Do you understand? Not literally. He's not literal, for Christ's sake. Okay? These then are the sons of great, which include Shakyamuni, right? You understand what I'm saying now? These are all great teachers. These are all great Buddhas. Amita's in there, for God's sake. He's one of the 16 sons of great universal wisdom excellence. All right? These then are the sons of great universal wisdom excellence. He's talking about us. The single principle that constitutes the true aspect of all phenomena. We are Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, which are the sons that spread out from the truth of, the original state. Now when Nichiren and his followers chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, they are acting as the 16th sons of the king, just like Shakyamuni did. Okay? No difference. The sutra states that these 16 sons all became Buddhas in one or another of the various lands in the 8 directions. This means that we, Nichiren is saying to us, this means that we will come to realize, if you haven't, I have. If you haven't, if you continue on this path and understand with faith what this is teaching is trying to help you understand, you will come to realize that our earthly desires, with the 8 sufferings that they entail, are none other than enlightenment. The sufferings of birth and death are enlightenment. It's right on the Gohonzon. That's what that's saying. You're going to realize that everything is connected, that everything is a flip, that it's not enlightenment and delusion. It's delusion and enlightenment. Do you follow? And until you understand that, how can you possibly believe you're a Buddha exactly as you are? You've got too many things that fuck with you. Right? Yeah. Excuse my language. Pardon me. But that's the point. That's what he's trying to make you understand. Don't read this Lotus Sutra like it's like some religious like Bible and they're talking about Jesus and God and everything else. No. It's not even current, frankly. Because it's so misleading. Because it's so misleading. It's too difficult. This, you just go by Nichiren. Everything I'm reading you out of the orally transmitted teachings is already in the Ghost Show. I've already read it. Okay? You just have to know enough to perceive it. But there's nothing that Nichiren is saying here that he hasn't already said elsewhere. Okay? So this is not made up stuff by Nico. This is just Nichiren qualifying. This is all the good shit. Make sure that you get this part down. All right? Okay, the sutra state. Okay, I'll say it again because I don't know where I'm at. Last paragraph on point 5, page 76. The sutra states that these 16 sons all became Buddhas in one or another of the various lands of the 8 directions. This means that we will come to realize that our earthly desires with the 8 sufferings that they entail are none other than enlightenment. Point 6. 2 more points and we're done. Point 6, the word wipe out the phantom city in the passage. At that time, the leader, knowing that the people have become rested and are no longer fearful or weary, wipes out the phantom city and says to the group, you must go now, the place where the treasure is close by. The record of the orally transmitted teaching says, these entities or bodies of ours are wiped out. And in this sense, it is a phantom city. Okay, so what does that qualify? Let me read the whole thing, then we'll go through it. Okay. That is, if we take this wiping out as a true wiping out or extinction, then our bodies are a phantom city. Okay? But if we have the wisdom to see that this wiping out is not a true wiping out or extinction, but only an aspect of eternal life, then it is a place of treasure, a treasure land. This is what the lifespan chapter means when it says, but in truth I do not pass into extinction. Okay, now let me go back over that part because this is very, 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 very important for you to understand as he's meaning it. The record of these entities of our bodies are wiped out, and in this sense, it is a phantom city. Okay, so what does that qualify? What is it about you right now that you don't really think about it that way, but it is the truth?
Theoretical.
Right? You're a temporary gathering of the 5 components. Okay, you are not a permanent entity. Your Nyose So, Nyose Show, and Nyose Tai will reflect your karma. And your karma changes in each life based on the causes you've made. Right? Okay, so he's saying these entities or bodies are phantoms. If you base everything on you, right now, you're basing on a bullshit fantasy. Just like a phantom city is.
Yeah.
Okay? If you don't see the eternity of your life, if you're not living for the long play instead of the short play because you're not smart enough to see anything more than the short play, you're screwing yourself and you will be screwed. Very simple.
True. Huh?
Very simple. True, huh? Okay? But then he goes on to say, but if we have the wisdom, what kind of wisdom is that wisdom that he's referring to?
Buddha wisdom.
The Buddha wisdom. Not just smart, not intellect.
No.
Not it makes sense for us to have no. This is the faith. But if you have the faith to see that this wiping out is not a true wiping out, it's a phase of eternal existence. I do this over and over and over and over and over again because I am a sage world wheel turning king. I come back lifetime, I come back into the Sahe world over and over again of my own volition in order to teach and to save the people. That's a badass. That's a real Buddha. You can't, that's what it takes.
Yes.
All right? Okay. Then this place is a treasure land. Why is it a treasure land?
Because we're here.
Because we're Buddhists. No, because Buddhists are.
Yes.
We understand the truth. Therefore, the Sahe world becomes the treasure land.
Right.
That's what that just explained. It's all up to you.
Yes.
For some people they're in the treasure land, and for some people they're not, and it's all up to them.
Yes.
Okay? This is what the lifespan chapter means when it says, but in truth I do not pass into extinction. To wipe out the concept of wiping out itself is the true wiping out. Let me say that again. To wipe out the concept of wiping out itself is the true wiping out. This is the doctrine embodied in the assertion that the three vehicles expounded in the provisional teachings are in fact the one vehicle of the true teaching. To wipe out the concept of wiping out is itself the true wiping out. To rid yourself of the delusion of this life being you and not temporary, okay, and not even representing the relative existence of eternity, okay, when you understand that that isn't the true life, that's the true wiping out of delusion. Because you've attained Buddhahood, okay, and you're going to be that way. Okay, so let me read more. Okay, where am I? Am I still on point 6, right?
Yeah.
Right here, okay. To wipe out the concept of wiping out, okay, to eliminate the concept of being able to be eliminated. Do you understand?
Right. You can't be.
Are you with me? You
Yes.
understand how he's saying this? Because it's a lot of confusing words. To wipe out the concept of wiping out itself is the true wiping out. I mean, my God. All right. So let's make sure we understand what he's saying. To wipe out the concept of wiping out temporary existence,
Right.
to get rid of the idea of temporary existence, okay, is the true wiping out of delusion, because you've now opened yourself up to seeing yourself as not being temporary. That means you've opened your mind. We just went through those 3 things up above, right? It's just saying, he's just reaffirming that.
You are
I'll
temporary.
read.
We are temporary.
Yes, these, okay. Let me go back to the top and read it all the way through. Just shut up. The record of the orally transmitted teaching says these entities or bodies of ours are wiped out. And in this sense, it is a phantom city. But that's delusion. That is, if we take this wiping out, because that we're not having faith in the teaching. We're not Buddhists. That is, if we take this wiping out as a true wiping out or extinction, then our bodies are a phantom city because we didn't attain Buddhahood, right? But if we have the wisdom to see that this wiping out is not a true wiping out or extinction, but only an aspect of eternal life, then it is a place of the treasure land, because that means we've attained the state of Buddha wisdom, right? This is what the lifespan chapter means when it says, but in truth I do not pass into extinction. To wipe out, the concept of wiping out itself is the true wiping out. This is the true elimination of being a common mortal. This is the doctrine embodied in the assertion that the three vehicles expounded in the provisional teachings are in fact the one vehicle of the true teaching. Because what was that teaching? Okay, let's go back. This is the doctrine embodied in the assertion that the three vehicles expounded in the provisional teachings are in fact the one vehicle of the true teaching. What is that talking about? The replacement of the three vehicles with the one vehicle, right?
Yep.
And what is that teaching? That teaching is that you thought you were just a voice hearer. Oh, you thought you were just a cause awakened one. Oh, you thought you were just a bodhisattva. No, you're all freaking Buddhists.
Right.
Okay? That's what that just said.
Okay.
Okay? To wipe out the concept of wiping out is itself the true wiping out. It means you have attained enlightenment. This is the doctrine embodied in the assertion that the voice hearers, cause awakened ones, and bodhisattvas are the same as Buddhas. Okay? This is what validates that story as being true. Okay? Mm-hmm. Again, we may say that the words wipe out the phantom city refers to the wiping out of the temples of the slanderers of the law. Mm-hmm. Now when Nietzsche, and also says down here, by the way, this means to convert them, not to kill them. Now when Nietzsche and his followers chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, they are revealing that the phantom city is none other than the treasure land. They are revealing that the phantom city is none other than the treasure land. When you're on that journey, and you're so freaking tired that you have to stop and take a break, and you've made the determination to go on, you're really in a state of delusion. You're already there. You're already there. There is no place to go on to, actually. It's just for your mind to perceive the truth of the reality of where you are and who you are in this moment, each moment. It's the difference between delusion and enlightenment. In this moment, are you a common mortal or are you a Buddha? I don't know about you. I'm a Buddha all the time now. It just works that way. Okay? When I'm a common mortal, Gohanza slaps me in the face and says, "Wake up, Buddha, you're not thinking right." I know. I get slapped in the face by the Gohanza. All right? So, again, we may say that the words wipe out the phantom city. What are we doing? We're wiping out our delusion. All right? Refers to the wiping out of the temples of the slanderers of the law, which are all filled with delusion. Right? We're converting in the correct teaching instead of the bottom. We're not destroying them. Now when Nietzsche and his followers chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, they are revealing through who they are and what they're doing that the phantom city is none other than the treasure land, that the Sahe world is already a Buddha land. When they chant Nam-myoho, okay, now when Nietzsche and his followers chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, they are turning the Sahe world into the Buddha land. That's what that's saying. These mountains and these mountain valleys and broad plains where we live are all, every one of them, that means no exception, treasure lands of eternally tranquil light. They are all whatever our mind is reflecting them to be. Period. And they are nothing more than that. They aren't any worse than your mind allowing them to be that bad, or there's no end to how good they are based on your mind understanding that they're infinitely wonderful. Okay? Point 7, last one. Damn. We were only going to get through the rest of this chapter. That's all we're going to get in today anyhow, no matter how I feel.
Yeah.
Okay, point 7 on the passage. Now you must press forward diligently. Have I been too redundant?
No.
Okay. Point 7 on the passage. Now you must press forward diligently so that together you may all reach the place where the treasure is. That's from the sutra, right? Mm-hmm. That's the guide telling everybody, okay, let's split. Don't worry about the Phantom City. We're almost there. All right? Okay, again. Point 7 on the passage, the guide is telling to the people, you must press forward diligently. That means no matter what difficulties, overcome them, so that together you may all reach the place where the treasure is, okay? The record of the orally transmitted teaching says the word all represents the 10 worlds. Now, what would that mean then? Think of the sentence above, and then he says all is referring to the 10 worlds. What is he qualifying there? The goal isn't for the good people to get to the treasure land and understand that it's the treasure land. The goal is for all people to get to the treasure land and have the wisdom to understand it's the treasure land. Okay? So when he says all refers to the 10 worlds, he's qualifying again. Hell is just as good as Buddhahood. Hunger is just as good as Buddhahood. They're all equal. Okay? You can't discern between the two of them. There's no separation in reality between any of them, right? Mutual possession of the 10 worlds. Boom, right?
Yeah.
Are you kicking me for a reason?
No,
Okay. The record of the orally transmitted teaching says the word all refers to the 10 worlds. The word together refers to the words of the Buddha in chapter 2 in Expedient Means, hoping to make all persons equal to me, Buddhahood.
Yes.
Without any distinction between us,
Yes.
Buddhahood. The word reach means to arrive at the level of the highest effect, the state of Buddhahood. Okay, the state of Buddhahood isn't about intellect. It's not about intelligence or vocabulary or nationality or race or sex or anything else like that. So it can't be measured on anything that's like a score.
No.
Okay, Buddhahood is perceiving the reality of Buddhahood. That's all.
Yes.
Okay, so the word reach means to arrive at the level of the highest effect, the state of Buddhahood. Doesn't matter how smart you are, when you realize that Buddhahood is your actual state of life, you're good. The place where the treasure is, the treasure land, is the holy mountain of Eagle Peak. Nichiren and his followers who chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. I got this circled, so this is very important. One and all, let me say it again. So this is all of us. Nichiren and his followers, those who chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Do you all chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
One and all will together reach the place where the treasure is. Okay? The one word together means that as long as they are together with Nichiren, that's why I said this is probably the most important part I could read to you.
Yeah.
Because this doesn't say as long as they're together with Nichiren or with Shakyamuni or with any other mortal that I might mention. Okay? Nichiren makes it very clear every time. You make sure they understand you're a disciple of Nichiren. Mm-hmm. He is the original teacher. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason he would say, make sure that they know you're with me. Make sure they know you're a Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, thus come one. You're a Buddha of the original state. When you say Nichiren, they'll understand it's the same thing as the original state. They'll understand it's Kuan. It's Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. It's a law that they've all become enlightened to. Let them know you got it directly from me. Okay? Let me say it again. Nichiren and his followers who chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo one and all will together reach the place where the treasure is. The one word together means that as long as they are together with Nichiren, that means as long as they're chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo with faith to the Gohonzon, they will reach the treasure land. But if they are not together with him, they won't get to the treasure land? Is that what he says? If they are not together with him, does he say, they just won't be able to get to the treasure land? What does he say? That's the sentence, the last sentence of that paragraph.
They're going to.
No, they will fall into the great citadel of the Avicii hell. Okay? Don't be afraid to say it. It's the truth. That's the only reason we preach so hard, to get them to avoid that. Okay?
All right. Next week.
Next week we do 2 chapters.
Thank you.
Thank
8 and 9. Thank you very much.